Welcome to my channel. My name is Nives and I'm a mother of two girls, and I've recently left my job and my corporate career to stay at home and homeschool them and have this advantage of time with my daughters. And so that's what I talk about on this channel. If that sounds like something you're interested in, please hit subscribe. So I'm in the process of making a few videos to show you more of the behind the scenes or some back to homeschool types of tips, how we get prepared, how I plan everything, and just how we get organized. I'm always a little bit reluctant to document the process as I go along because I feel like I get overwhelmed sometimes doing it, let alone bringing a camera along, but I figure it might help some of you. And honestly, when we were preparing to homeschool, this was one of my favorite types of videos to watch. So today's video is on preparing for our kindergarten, or in Charlotte Mason terms, kinderleben year. My daughter is 5 years old, and so she is starting her year of kindergarten. She was, in Canadian terms, in kindergarten last year, in junior kindergarten, and now she's graduating to senior kindergarten. So it's her last year of before the formal education begins. And as a little bit of an insight on what our kindergarten / kinderleben plans are, I previously made a video on that topic. I'll link it down below. And the main three things we focus on, and we will be bringing those things back into this homeschool year, are to read really good books and a lot of read aloud time, a lot of outdoor time and time to connect and learn about nature. And number three is learning good habits. And so this is no different. This year we will be focusing on that, but I will be bringing some gentle learning opportunities as well. I will not be pushing any formal learning, but we will be adding some gentle ways for her to develop those skills. She, for example, is very much interested in reading, and so she has learned to read, and so we will continue that this year, where I will be introducing her to books that are age appropriate and she can practice her reading skills, which is so wonderful because I think it opens her up to a whole world of imagination and creativity and just getting lost in a really good book. And I feel like at such a young age she's already loving reading, and I love that. And of course I'm going to continue to read aloud to both of my daughters, which is so important. And then something else she has been doing on her own is teaching herself how to write. And so she's been practicing writing words as she thinks they are written. So I didn't want to start formal writing until she's 6, but I feel like she's getting ahead of me, so she leaves me no choice. So we will be doing some gentle writing lessons and copy work so that she can really perfect that writing skill, because I really want her to develop the habit of doing it correctly, learning her strokes perfectly, and then also, as Charlotte Mason says, having a good hand. And so I cannot neglect that. So we will be adding some gentle copy work throughout our year as well. And I am just so conscious of how quickly time passes. I keep saying this, but it's so true. So this last year, before formal education begins, I intend for us to really soak it up and take it in and say yes to more adventures out of our house, on going out on field trips, on so many more discoveries, just really taking the time to also build our relationship and be together. I feel like I'm constantly working on myself as a mother, and I feel like these early years are at least giving me a pause to be able to do that, so I can come into the formal education as a more patient, more giving, more rested mother. And so this next year is going to be a lot of preparation for me as their mother teacher in terms of what books we're going to be using, what curriculum we might be using. Obviously, I said we're going to be doing a Charlotte Mason approach, and I have a few curriculums that I was looking at, and so I will really spend this year going in depth to figure out what we're doing there. So in this past homeschooling year, we've loved learning seasonally, and so this year will be no different. We're taking that right into our new year. And if you are interested in how we learn seasonally, why I think it's such a wonderful way to learn for children, let me know and I will make a video on it. All right, so in terms of preparation and how I get ready for the new year, I'm gonna turn around the camera and take you to my table and show you what I've been up to. Okay, so first things first, something I start doing is going through my planner, and I just got a new planner. So I've already started this actually very briefly, but what I do is I go into my yearly calendar and I figure out what our first day of school date will be. And I love making it official, especially after we take the summer to rest and have a less structured rhythm. And I'll be making a video on how we make it official and how we make that first day of homeschool special. So stay tuned for that. And so with that said, I also go through any vacation we have planned, which I haven't done so far because I need to think that through. I see when we are starting up our homeschool co-op. And I've mentioned before, I have started a homeschool co-op and we hosted every week at our house. We've had such a wonderful first year last year. And so now we're actually gearing up to go into our second year in the beginning of September. And again, that's another video I have coming up for those of you interested in how to plan and how to create your own homeschool group or co-op, whatever you may call it. So that's going to be coming out. I also like to go through the months and pencil in any other commitments we may have, which I haven't fully done so far, but you know, my daughter's forest school or her dance lessons. So building this skeleton of a schedule, because it is kind of a skeleton, it really helps me then add more detailed stuff to it. And so currently I have a list of items on my to-do list, and as I check those, I will be adding the relevant information to the calendar. All right, so I will show you what it is that I have figured out so far, and there's a lot of these items that I still have to check off my list. So let me show you what I have so far. Okay, so I want to talk about nature study now. We have the Treehouse Schoolhouse 4 Seasons curriculum, which we will be using again this year. I don't use it in its entirety. I take some weeks and I use them, and other weeks I come up with. I come up with topic ideas that I know my daughters will be interested in or that are seasonally local to us and that would just be really good to explore and learn about. But I have this binder here, and these are lessons that I've kept for this upcoming year. So here I have it organized by seasons and then also some holidays. So in the fall, we will be learning about, we have some sunflower printouts, I have some apple tree activities, and then I didn't have actually the Treehouse Schoolhouse nature study for fall. I only got the free pumpkins and corn study, which we did, but I'm excited to try the apples one from them. This is all fall and unit study on bats. This is just Canadian Remembrance Day, little unit study that I printed out from our government website, but I have a lot of pages in each one of these little folders. I have a picture of Flanders Field, with all the poppies, and so yeah, and then same thing goes for Christmas and all the other seasons and holidays. So what I intend to do is exactly what I did last year, and it's essentially planning my year ahead of time. So planning all the seasonal topics that we will be learning about and that are going to be part of our morning basket. And then every week I go through this binder and I pull out what it is that we're going to be needing for the week, or print out what I need to print out. And I feel like that is just the best way for my family. That's what works for me. I don't find it overwhelming. I don't need to prepare anything so far in advance. Most of this, I mean, I have it prepared now, but most of this was prepared a week in advance each week. But another thing that's a staple for our nature study are these nature anatomy books. So we have the nature anatomy. We have food anatomy, wildlife anatomy, and farm anatomy. And that's by Julia Rothman, all of these. And then I also have the Handbook of Nature Study by Anna Botsford Comstock. So this is mainly for my own reference. And this is something that I will be reading through all year long as I familiarize myself and learn about the topics we're studying before I actually teach them to my daughters. So I'm just editing this video and I realized that there's one main component of nature study that I forgot to mention, and that is nature journaling. And so this year I really want to start nature journaling with my oldest daughter. So I'm going to be giving all of us, including my youngest, a nature journal to start documenting our findings in. I think it expands their curiosity, it helps them develop their art skills, and it's just an overall great tool for complementing your nature study. Another book we like to reference is this book on wonders of nature, and that's a DK book. Has beautiful illustrations. All right, so morning basket, I think that's something that's so exciting. It's so fun to do, and it's the main anchor to our days as kinderleben homeschoolers. Basically, I've done a video on how we do a morning basket. A lot of it I'm going to keep for the next year, and there's going to be a few additions as well. So for my morning menus, I've actually created our own morning menus. I'm going to show you what it is. Okay, so I actually got my restaurant menus in the mail, so I'm just going to show you what it looks like once printed. So this is our morning menu that I've created for us. I've also made this alphabet sheet so she can do some copy work of the alphabet letters, and we will be using a dry erase marker so that way she can just do it over and over again, and we can just start again the next day. Here I can write some sentences and my daughter can do some copy work. And then here I have numbers, and then I still have one, or I guess two, sheets available for something else that I can add to it. Okay, so then going back to my morning basket, I will continue to read Aesop's Fables. We have read a whole bunch of them, and we will continue to power through this book. Like I've said before, we read about a fable every week to really for them to assimilate the message and the moral of the story, and so I think that's a really good rhythm for us. Then we also have this Treasury for All Seasons, which is a nice little seasonal book of poems. And recently my daughter was gifted this beautiful complete book of the Flower Fairies collection, which we will be adding to our morning time. And this one, the poems were written back in 1923, and it was reprinted. It's beautiful little poems organized by seasons, and then also there's a poem for each letter of the alphabet as well. We also have our Sing a Song of Seasons. Oh, I guess we pressed something. We forgot about it. Let me see. Let me see here what we have. Oh, we have some forget-me-nots. Oops, and we forgot about them. And we have some dried hydrangeas. That's so funny because they didn't really dry pretty, but I think my daughter will like this, so I'm gonna take that out to show her. Yeah, so Sing a Song of Seasons. It's a nature poem for each day of the year. And then, like I said, we intend to be more diligent about our Bible study time, so we will be going through this Bible. I also have the Tiny Truths Illustrated Bible that we read through. We've read through it many times. My daughters love the stories in this, so we will continue that. And then I also got my daughter her very first early readers Bible, and again I got that on Prime Day, so that's coming in the mail. Okay, so this is the Bible that I was just talking about. I got it in the mail, and it's the New International Revised Version Adventure Bible for early readers. So this is going to be my daughter's first Bible. All right, when it comes to reading, I have gone on the Ambleside online website and on the Year Zero / kinderleben page, and I've gathered a list of books that were on there. I've took out the ones that we haven't read yet, and I've added it to my list along with other books that I have on my list as well. All right, so some books that I have on my list, I already have here. I'm thinking that we will be reading the full Alice Adventures in Wonderland. We've read the picture book, my daughter loved it, but we will be reading the actual Lewis Carroll full-length book. I also have Winnie the Pooh that I've started reading to them, and then we really got absorbed by the Faraway Magic Tree. Is that what it is? Magic Faraway Tree, Magic Faraway Tree. And we're almost finishing our second book now. So we've put this on hold, but I think I will read this to them this year. Then I also have Now We Are Six that I might be reading. That's also, I believe, on the Ambleside online list. And so is When We Were Very Young. So these are, oh, and I also have The House at Pooh's Corner. So these books, I don't know if I'm going to read all of them, but I'm definitely going to be reading some of them throughout the year to my girls. And then I also have the Beatrix Potter series. We've read some of them. We haven't read a lot of other ones, so I will be getting them out from the library. Then I also have Charlotte's Web on my list. And then I also have the Thornton Burgess books on my list. For those ones, I know some kids really take to them. It's a lot of animal adventures, and some kids really find them boring, for lack of a better term. My daughter likes it, but in small quantities. Like, she's never asking for more and more and more, unlike some other books. So I'll try a few more. We've been reading Reddy Fox. We've read through that. And I'll try a few more. They're very inexpensive on Amazon. I think they're like $4 US. So I'll get a few more and we'll be trying to read through those as well. And then other read alouds I have on my list are the Mother Goose collection, Bramley Hedge, which we have read through, but we like rereading them. It's beautiful seasonal stories and it goes right with our way of learning. The classic fairy tales. And then in addition to these read alouds, there's going to be picture books, of course, and my daughter is going to be practicing her new reading skill. And then some other items we have are these math building blocks where my daughters can use to learn how to add and subtract, as well as patterns and shapes and counting. They're very useful and it feels like it's a game, so it is. And then something else we use for math are loose parts that we collect in nature. I hardly ever, like, this was a gift, but I wouldn't really buy normally any loose parts for counting. I would collect acorns, for example. Like last year, my daughter filled her pockets full of acorns, and then we brought them home. We used them we painted them, we made garlands out of them, and then we also had them for counting, and it was just so useful. And then we also have this abacus as well that we use and will continue to use. All right, so those are our kinderleben / kindergarten plans for the new homeschool year 2024-2025. I've actually really enjoyed making this video, so I'm looking forward to continuing this series. And if you've enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. And again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye, everyone.